Liverpool built a dynasty. European knights, golden boots, legends carved in bronze. But before the banners, before the cameras, before the club became myth, there was a man who stood first. Ron Yeats didn't lift the European Cup. He didn't take Liverpool to Istanbul or Rome. He didn't wear the armband in Paris. But he made those nights possible. Because before the world watched, he made them matter. In 1961, Liverpool were in the second division. Forgotten by England, unfeared by Europe. Then Shankley arrived. Then Yeats arrived. The first captain of a revolution. He led them to promotion. He led them to their first modern title. He led them to their first FA Cup in 73 years. He didn't shout. He didn't chase the spotlight. He just held the line until history caught up. Shankley called him a colossus, a name you didn't pass, a presence you couldn't escape. But when the trophies started flowing, Yeats was already fading from memory. Subscribe if you believe giants like Ron Yeats should never fade, because Liverpool didn't start with silver. It started with him. Ron Yeats was born on November 15, 1937. Aberdeen, Scotland. A city built on oil, steel, and silence. He came from a working-class family. No glamour, no fast track, just hands hardened by the cold. Before football paid anything, he worked in a slaughterhouse. He cut meat all day, then trained after dark on frozen pitches. He played local semi-pro, wore heavy boots, got kicked back harder. In 1957, Dundee United gave him a chance. £1 per week, no promises. Just the chance to prove he belonged. Yeats played 96 league games for United. Scored once, defended everything. He was tall, strong, tactically raw, physically unmatched. He didn't dribble, he didn't dive, he just stood in the way and stayed there. No one hyped his name, no newspapers tracked his rise, but Bill Shankly was watching. He didn't need Yeats to be polished, he needed him to be unbreakable. By 1961, Liverpool weren't feared. They were stuck in the second division. The crowd still came, but the glory was gone. Shankly wanted to change everything. He needed leadership. He needed height. He needed steel. He needed Ron Yeats. Liverpool signed him from Dundee United for £22,000 in July 1961. Shankly introduced him to the press with one line that still echoes today. Take a walk around him, he's a colossus. Yeats stood 6 feet 2 inches. Built like a centre-half carved from brick. Calm eyes, low voice, no drama. Shankley made him captain immediately. No speech, no handshake, just trust. He walked into a shaky Liverpool backline and turned it into a wall. Not through tackles, through presence. He didn't need to scream. He didn't chase headlines. He just held the line and made others rise to match it. That first training session, players realized the tone had changed. The club had a spine, and that spine was wearing the armband. The change was immediate. In the 1961-62 season, Liverpool stormed the second division. 92 goals, only 41 conceded. Yeats started nearly every game. Promotion sealed with 5 games to spare. 2 years later, they were champions of England. 1963-64, Liverpool won the first division title. Yeats lifted the trophy. He shut out Tottenham at Anfield to seal it. No goals, no chances, just command. Shankley smiled in the shadows. The rebuild was complete, but they weren't done. In 1964-65, Liverpool reached the FA Cup final. Their opponents, Leeds United. May 1st, 1965. Wembley. After extra time, Liverpool won 2-1. Yeats shut down Alan Clark Leeds' spearhead, never found a yard. That's how you defend history. Their first FA Cup in history. A club that had waited 73 years finally had the right to celebrate. And Yeats was at the front. Holding the cup, no chest beating, no theatrics, just calm. As if this was always the plan. The next year, another league title. 1965-66. Second in 3 years. They also reached the European Cup Winners' Cup final. Faced Borussia Dortmund in Glasgow. Lost 2-1 after extra time. But now, Europe knew. Liverpool weren't just a club, they were a force. And at the center of it all stood the captain with brick shoulders and a butcher's calm. Ron Yeats wasn't flashy, he wasn't fast, but he didn't need to be. He read the game 2 seconds ahead and erased problems before they arrived. He didn't dive in, he didn't panic. He just stepped across and made the space disappear. At 6 feet 2 inches, he dominated in the air. But he didn't just win headers, he won moments. Strikers stopped testing him. Crosses avoided his zone. Midfielders started thinking twice. He didn't tackle to impress, he tackled to end the conversation. There were no VAR calls, no appeals, just Yeats standing over the ball and walking away. Teammates followed him because they didn't want to let him down. Roger Hunt once said, "Ron didn't need to talk, just one look and you knew your job." He didn't inspire through speeches, he inspired by never breaking. One teammate said it best, "You never wanted to let the big man down, that was enough." He played through knocks, he covered ground quietly. He didn't need armbands, he was the armband, fans respected him, but it was the dressing room that revered him. Shankley had the fire, but Yeats had the floor. He wasn't just a defender, he was the silence before the anthem. By the late 1960s, Liverpool were evolving. The squad was younger, the style was faster, the boots got lighter, but the weight never changed. Yeats saw the shift coming, and like he always did, he didn't resist. He played his final Liverpool match in 1971. 10 seasons, 454 appearances, multiple titles. Only silence on the way out. No testimonial, no farewell game, no interview on the pitch. Just the armband passed on and the giant stepping aside. He joined Tranmere Rovers as a player-manager, led from the back again. He didn't just play, he raised standards. Tranmere's backline became tougher, sharper, more Yeats. In 1973, they held promotion contenders Bolton to a clean sheet. Yeats ran it like a general. Taught players who didn't know they were being taught. Then came America. Stints with the Los Angeles Skyhawks and the Santa Barbara Condors. Different shirt, same discipline. He was never chasing fame. He wasn't built for a legacy tour. He did his job, then moved on. The same way he played. Clear, quiet, certain. When the boots came off, Yeats didn't leave the game. He returned to Liverpool. But not to the pitch, to the stands, binoculars in hand, notebook always ready. He became the club's chief scout, a role he would hold for more than 20 years. He didn't talk much, didn't brag, didn't sit in TV studios. He just watched, and kept watching. He spotted Steve Nicol, a teenager playing in Scotland, brought him to Anfield. He also helped bring in Alan Hansen, another quiet presence who would carry the legacy forward. Nicol became a European champion, another quiet recruit, another long shadow cast by Yeats. His eyes helped shape the next generation. Boot room men, no agents, no noise. He was a link to Shankly's values long after Shankley was gone. You didn't see him in documentaries, but you saw his work every Saturday. He didn't need the spotlight, because he knew what it cost to earn it, and he'd rather build someone else's moment than chase one for himself. He never lifted the European Cup. He never wore the new kits. He never entered the modern highlight reels. So history forgot to say his name. There's no statue outside Anfield, no stand named after him, no Netflix special. But there should be. Ron Yeats didn't ask to be remembered, but he gave Liverpool something no one else could, a foundation. He was the first to carry weight without dropping it. And when the club grew into greatness, he stepped aside and let others shine. On September 6th, 2024, Ron Yeats passed away, aged 85. The club released a tribute. The fans remembered. But the headlines didn't stay long. He didn't die in scandal. He didn't chase controversy. He just lived the way he captained with dignity and silence. Legends fade when we stop saying their names, and for too long, Ron Yeats went unsaid. Shankley once said, "With Yeats at the back, we'll conquer the bloody world." And for a while, they did. Before Hughes, before Hansen, before the banners and the songs, Yeats wore the armband. He walked Liverpool out of the second division. He led them to their first modern title, their first FA Cup, their first European final. He made them believe, then made room for the next to rise. He never chased glory, he carried it, quietly, relentlessly. He stood for a time when leaders didn't shout. They showed up and stayed standing. A fan once said, he was the first Great Wall of Anfield. Picture it, the old cop roaring in black and white, Yeats walking out first, the anthem waiting to be born. And they're right, because football didn't begin with cameras and confetti, it began with men like him. Subscribe if you believe names like Ron Yeats should never go quiet, because Liverpool didn't start with legends, it started with him.